Claire never believed in ghosts. She didn't believe in curses. And she certainly didn't believe that a camera could ruin someone's life. It all started on a rainy Saturday afternoon. Claire was walking through a small antique market in London when she noticed an old camera sitting on a dusty wooden shelf. It looked beautiful, vintage, well preserved. The shop owner noticed her interest. "You have a good eye," he said. "That camera has quite a history." Claire smiled. "What kind of history?" The old man hesitated. Then he quietly replied, "The kind people usually don't want." Claire laughed. She assumed it was a sales trick. After all, every antique seller had a story. She bought the camera and took it home. That evening, she decided to test it. She stood in her living room and took a photograph. The flash illuminated the room. Everything seemed normal. A few moments later, she transferred the image to her computer. At first glance, nothing looked unusual. Then, she noticed something. Standing in the far corner of the room was a man. Tall, thin, dressed in a dark coat. His face was partly hidden by shadows. Claire stared at the image. Then she looked toward the corner. Nobody was there. She zoomed in. The figure remained, perfectly clear. She convinced herself it was a reflection or some strange camera. The next day, she took the camera with her while meeting friends at a cafe. She snapped a few casual pictures. Hours later, she reviewed them. The same man appeared again. This time outside the cafe window, watching. His face was still hidden, but there was no doubt. It was the same person. Claire felt uneasy, yet curiosity quickly replaced fear. Over the next several days, she took dozens of photographs. At the train station, at work, at the park. Every image contained the man. Always in the background. Always staring. And every time he seemed slightly closer. Claire showed the photographs to her friends. Most assumed it was editing. Others thought she was creating a social media prank. Nobody believed her. Then, things became stranger. One evening, she took a photograph inside her apartment hallway. When she checked the image, the man wasn't standing at the far end. He was halfway down the hallway, closer than ever before. Claire felt genuine fear for the first time. That night, she barely slept. The following morning, she returned to the antique shop. She wanted answers. But when she arrived, the shop no longer existed. The building was empty, covered in dust. A nearby business owner told her nobody had rented the unit in years. Claire's stomach tightened. She knew she had bought the camera there. She remembered speaking to the owner. Yet nobody else seemed to remember the shop at all. Days turned into weeks. The photographs continued. The man continued appearing. And he continued getting closer. Claire became obsessed. She stopped going out, stopped meeting friends, stopped sleeping properly. Every night she reviewed old images, searching for clues. Then she noticed something horrifying. The man's position wasn't random. He was moving. Each photograph represented another step toward her, like a countdown. One image, one step. Another image, another step. He was approaching her. Slowly, patiently, inevitably. Claire calculated the distance. If the pattern continued, he would eventually reach her. The realization terrified her. She decided to destroy the camera, She smashed it with a hammer, burned the remaining pieces, and threw them into a river. Finally, she felt relieved. No more photographs, no more mystery, no more man. For several months, everything returned to normal. Then one evening, while scrolling through photos on her phone, she froze. A recent picture taken during a birthday party appeared on the screen. Standing among the guests was the man. The camera was gone, but he remained. Claire's hands shook. She zoomed in. For the first time, part of his face was visible, and what she saw made her blood run cold. The face looked familiar, very familiar. She opened older photographs, compared them side by side. The resemblance became impossible to ignore. The man looked exactly like her father, the same father who had disappeared when she was 6 years old. Claire immediately contacted relatives. She searched through family records, old photographs, police reports, anything she could find. What she discovered changed everything. Her father hadn't disappeared. He had died more than 30 years earlier, long before some of the photographs were taken. Claire couldn't explain it. Nothing made sense. Weeks later, she found herself staring at one final image, the last photograph ever taken with the camera, the one from her apartment hallway. She zoomed in further than ever before and finally noticed something hidden in the shadows behind the man. Another figure, someone standing even farther back, watching him. Claire enhanced the image. Her breathing stopped. The second figure wasn't a stranger. It wasn't her father. It wasn't anyone she knew. It was her, standing in complete darkness, watching him, watching herself, watching everything. The timestamp on the image made no sense, because according to the file data, the photograph wasn't taken in the past. It was scheduled to be taken 6 months in the future. Claire spent the next 6 months living in fear, checking every reflection, every shadow, every photograph. Then the date finally arrived. The exact date from the file. That evening, she sat alone in her apartment, trying to convince herself none of it was real. Then her phone vibrated. A notification appeared. Someone had uploaded a photograph, taken only seconds earlier. The image showed Claire sitting exactly where she was now, looking directly at her phone. And standing behind her chair was the man. For the first time, his face was completely visible. Claire slowly turned around. And that's when she understood why he looked familiar. The man wasn't her father. The man wasn't a ghost. The man was Claire. Older. Much older. And the expression on his face wasn't anger. It wasn't hatred. It was fear. As if he had spent years trying to reach her, trying to warn her, trying to stop something. Something standing behind her. Something the photograph never showed. A mysterious vintage camera reveals a terrifying secret. Every photograph contains the same stranger, and with each new picture, he gets closer. Who is he? Why is he appearing? And what happens when he finally arrives? Watch until the end for the shocking twist. Subscribe for more horror stories, mystery narrations, creepy tales, and suspense storytelling.